My name is Langston 2092, and this is the miniseries called Fast Money, Women, and My Life. So, I ran away from home. I wound up staying with my aunt, and then my aunt couldn't, take care of me because I was a financial burden. That was an extra mouth to feed. So, my grandmother, wind up getting me, and I wound up staying with her. So it's crazy because I did the same thing that I did with my mom's, acting up in school, skipping school, but it was even worse. I would go out late at night and hang out, at Duke and at UNC, those two colleges. I remember when Duke won against UNLV. I think Larry Johnson was playing at the time. And they had this big party, and we went to to Duke, and the whole campus was lit. We were in the dorms, and I mean, white girls were passing out. There was beer everywhere. There was beer kegs. White guys are running up to us telling us, "Yo, you can have anything you want. Anything you want. You want beer? You can have it." And that's when I realized, that there is a big difference between the quality of life that a black person lives in comparison to the quality of life that a white person lives. Duke's college was lit. They actually had a student union, and I remember, I never forget, like, they had free payphones, and like, you can call long distance on the free payphones, or free phones, period. They had inside their student union, they had a store. They had Burger King. They had an arcade with pool tables in there. They had it was two other restaurants in there. I mean, it was just lit. So I mean, the whole campus was crazy. Everybody's partying and all the rest of that stuff. And here I am, or here we are, me is Anthony. You remember the dude I was telling you about that I used to, skip school with, and I would go over to his house. It was me, Anthony, and then the other dude that I was telling you about that, drove Shelly home. Us three. So we would go to these college campuses and to these parties, and really nobody questioned us, and we were in high school. We used to go to UNC, Chapel Hill, and it would be this street called Franklin Avenue, and they had an arcade, a pizzeria, a whole bunch of stuff on that strip, and we used to hang out there as well. So it's like I'm getting into more stuff, more things, like getting into more trouble, really. I knew I wasn't supposed to be sneaking out late at night, but I mean, it was very tempting, and I seized the opportunity. Old people go to sleep mad early. My grandmother was one of them, so she would go to sleep. I never forget it. She would look at her Atlanta Braves baseball game, because she loves baseball. And after that, she'll be dozing off around 7:30 or something like that, and she's done. And my grandmother, she had like a big house. She had like 3 floors. So the third floor was my room. Actually, it was three bedrooms. So the third floor was her room, another room that her husband used to sleep in, and then because my grandfather died when I was younger, and I think I already told you all that. That's the reason why we moved down south. So she remarried. I think I told you all that in part 1. So it was my room, and then the middle floor was the dining area, and that's where the table was, that everybody ate at, when it was like Christmas and Thanksgiving dinners. And then there was a living room, and then you had the kitchen area, which there was the regular table that everybody ate at. And then downstairs was the basement. Downstairs was the basement, and there was a room that was there too. And then the basement, you go inside, and it was a fireplace, couch, TV, etc. Right? So, I would mainly be down there at night. And when I snuck out, I always turned on the bathroom light. So just in case my grandmother went downstairs to check on me, she would think that I was in the bathroom, using the bathroom or whatever. And, just about every weekend, I would do this. I would iron my clothes, call up, the dude that I told you about. I'll say his name is Mar. Mar. I would call him up and he'd be like, yo, meet me over his house and then we'll pick up Anthony. So I would iron my clothes and put my clothes on, and I would take my sneakers and put them outside. And my grandmother had a sliding door, so I would slowly push the sliding door open, just enough where I could squeeze through it, and then I would run up to the street, from behind the house, and then put my sneakers on and meet Mar at his house. Now Mar, his mom's had a Toyota Camry, and his stepfather had like a Dodge Jeep or something like that truck. So his mom's would have, he could use the car, the Toyota Camry like in the afternoons. We would go to the malls and stuff like that. But at night it was a no-no. So what we had to do in order to take the car, so the driveway sat on a hill. So what we had to do was, Mar would get in a car. He would turn the ignition, but not to the point where you're turning it to turn the car on, to turn the engine on. And he'll put the car in reverse and let it slide all the way down the driveway. And then once he gets in the street, he'll crank it up and drive off. So we would pick up Anthony. Anthony's moms didn't care, and plus Anthony was older than us anyway, and the reason why he was older than us is because, he was older than us, but then also it's crazy, like he was in the same grade that we were in. So Anthony is like 2-3 years older than us, but he's in the same grade that we're in, right? And the reason why is because Anthony was a highly intelligent person, but he was highly sensitive. Like, it mattered what people thought about him. So there'd be times, like one incident, we were riding a bus, right? And it snowed real bad that day. So the bus stopped and Anthony got off, and it was like really slippery, So everybody was like slipping. But when Anthony got off the bus, he slipped and fell, and his books went everywhere, and he slid down the hill, and everybody stopped. And they just busted out laughing. Anthony missed that whole year. He didn't go back to school that whole year. I said, yo, man, are you going back to school? I skipped school, but I'm skipping like 2-3 days out of the week. He's like, nah, man. I'm not. That's how he used to talk like that. Nah, man. I'm not going back. I get you're not going back like this week, but you're telling me you're not going back for the rest of the year? He was like, yeah. So anyway, I was doing like skipping school as usual, going over to Anthony's house, playing Mortal Kombat, playing Street Fighter 2, and he had TurboGrafx 16. I was playing some of those video games that TurboGrafx had. And things was just like normal because, my grandmother gave me space, and it wasn't the like positive space. It was negative space. Like, okay, I'm just gonna let him do what he do. I can't control him. I'm just gonna make sure he has a roof over his head and he has something to eat. That plain and simple. And it's crazy because, some people would think, okay, you're out of a hostile environment in which, you was going through with your moms and everything. Now you're in a better environment because my grandmother stayed in a nice neighborhood. There was no shooting, no none of that stuff, no drugs and none of that stuff, right? Everybody on that street in that neighborhood worked. They worked, like, if you're familiar with Durham, they worked at Research Triangle Park. So they were making good money. A lot of people were working for IBM, pharmaceutical companies, Coca-Cola, places where, companies, corporations, businesses that paid pretty good. So everybody was doing pretty well over there. So you would think, okay, Langston, you know, he's in a better environment. So therefore, it would make sense that he would do better. But I still lacked attention. So nobody was keeping up with me. Nobody was making sure that I was doing my homework. Nobody was making sure that I was studying. Nobody was making sure that, let me take it back. Nobody was preparing me for life. Nobody was telling me about life. Nobody told me about, everybody wanted me to go to college. Everybody wanted me to go to college and graduate from college and get a good job and be an outstanding citizen. But they never told me how to do it. They never said, you know what, son, or you know what, grandson, what do you want to be when you grow up? I never had that type of conversation with none of them. So here I am, I'm a lost child. At this point in time, it doesn't make a difference what environment I'm in, whether I'm in a bad one or a good one. Because at the end of the day, I'm lacking attention. So, of course, I wound up getting with some chick named Ange, right? And, we all about the girls. That's what it's about. And in high school, since I wasn't getting attention from, my grandparents and my mother, my stepfather and my father, my father would call me and be on some BS. Man, I heard you flunking. Yeah, I'm flunking, you idiot, because you're not here. Don't you get that? I heard you messing up in school. I hear you acting up. Your mom's just telling me such and such and such. Yeah, you idiot. Don't you get that? Don't you understand? See, y'all think that I'm just talking. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just telling you all about my life. No, all of these parts have meaning to it. And I want people to learn from my mistakes. That's the reason why I'm telling my story. You have to invest in your child's future. And if he or she turns out to be a piece of you know what, it's because you didn't invest in him or her. That plain and simple. So, of course, I'm not getting encouragement. I'm not getting the do's and don'ts to life. So where am I getting the do's and don'ts to life? The rights and wrong? From my peers. From my peers. So you know what my peers told me? How many chicks you slept with? At that time, it was like one. What? Yo, man, I already been through like 16, 17. What's wrong with you? So guess what? That's the mind state that I had. State of mind that I had. It was all about women. It's all about the girls. And it was all about the money. So I never forget, I was over my stepfather's house. So I guess he would be my step-grandfather. Step-grandfather was a preacher. And he was talking to me about girls one day. And it's so crazy because that's the only type of knowledge that I got, and it was the wrong knowledge. And it was crazy that it came from him being a preacher. He was talking about girls one day, and he said, you know what, son? Sow your oats. But then later on, when you get older, settle down and get married. Do you know what he meant by sow your oats? He meant you can have sex as much as you want to. But once you get older, you got to slow down. And it got to be about one female. So that's what it was about. It was about sex. So when I met Ann, she had big titties. She had a big butt. And I liked her. We exchanged numbers. And it was on. She was like, yo, come over. So I never forget it. My great aunt stayed right next to her. And she would talk about Ange all the time. She's so fast, she this and she that. And she's sneaking boys in the house and blah, blah, blah. And it's crazy that she would say that because I became that story that she talked about sneaking boys over. So I come over her house. Ange lives with her grandmother. Of course, old people go to sleep around 5:30, 6. And Ange is like, yo, I'm going to sneak you into the room. And we going to do what it did. I'm like, cool, I'm down with that. So I already had the Jimmy hat. You know what I'm saying? Went in the room, banged that out or whatever. Then I'm not lying. Her grandmother wakes up and says, Ange, knocking on the door. Bang, 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 bang. What you doing in there? So Ange jumped up and her breasts, her breasts was so beautiful, man. Like, I love black women, you know what I mean? But her breasts was so beautiful. You know, it was just amazing. Amazing. But anyway, she's putting on her bra. I'm putting on my pants and everything. I gotta jump out the front window. I jump out the window. I had to, I already got my rocks off or whatever, but I still didn't take the condom off, because I had to hurry up. So I jump out of the window. I don't have no shirt on. I got my sneakers in my hand, but I have my pants on. I'm running down the street. And I stopped. I put on my shirt and my my socks and my sneakers, and then I took the Jimmy off, threw it in the street or whatever. I threw it in like the sewer, little things, you know, them things like in the sidewalk or whatever. Anyway, time goes by and I'm dealing with Angie or whatever, but she's not my girl. So, make the long story short, graduation came. Of course, I didn't graduate. I wind up going 4 years and dropping out. And after that fourth year, because they told me, in order for you to graduate, you're gonna have to go to summer school, and then you're gonna have to go back to Jordan, and you'll graduate in December. I said, man, later for that. I wound up going to adult high school, the whole program thing, at Durham Tech. And I wound up getting an adult high school diploma. So time goes by, I'm still messing with Angie or whatever. Now I'm out of school. I got my adult high school diploma. And one day, Angie is outside, and it's this dude named Roderick that walks by. Now Roderick, me and him, we alright. We okay. Like, I don't really kind of mess with him or whatever, because he's a bully. And, I'm a smaller dude, so it's like, I've always had heart. I know that it was only a matter of time that me and him was going to get it in. I just knew it. So I tried my best to stay away from him. So Angie's, outside in front of our house or whatever. Roderick comes up to her and, try to, talk to her or whatever. She's like, nah, I'm talking to Langston. He says, man, forget him, blah, blah, blah. Just talking cash. You know what, right? So, make a long story short, I go to a high school football game, and after that, we all would go to McDonald's. So we went to McDonald's, and Roderick was there. Now, Roderick was a bully, but then also I understood why he did what he did, kinda. You see, I was cool with his brother, and his brother had I can't say got killed, suicide. I'll explain it to you. So one day, these fools, him, Roger's brother, Brian, and two other dudes, they played Russian roulette. So of course, I think it was a 45 or 38 or something like that. They put a bullet in the chamber, spun it, and then they put it to each other's head, right? So when it came to Roger's brother's turn, he put the gun to his head, boom, blew his brains out. So Roderick, I guess felt a certain kind of way with that, mentally. But anyway, we at McDonald's, I see Roderick. Roderick comes up to me and he's like, yo, what's going on? I'm like, yo, man, I don't want to talk to you. You was talking, junk to Ange or whatever. And he's like, nah, I ain't do that. I ain't say that, da-da-da-da-da. And then he was like, but if you got beef, I'm like, yeah, I got beef. So he's, punched me right here with a ring, and my face just said split open, right? I got blood everywhere. I'm still fighting, right? Now, This guy, Roderick, is bigger than me. He's like 6'1", like 2 and some change, right? So I go, because it's 2 things that I've always been in life. 3. I've always been short, 1. 2, I've always had heart. And 3, I'm strong, right? So I go to pick him up, to slam him, and 2 other guys behind me. This is crazy. Just about every fight I've been in, I've always gotten jumped. I don't understand it. I don't understand how they feel as though that we can't shoot the fair one, right? But anyway, two guys are just kicking me and punching me in my back, right? So I wind up falling back, and I'm on a street in the parking lot, and I got Roderick like this, like kind of like in a headlock, right? So a dude that we cool with, me and Roderick, and later I found out that was Roderick's cousin, Kasim. He pulls the gun out and shoots it in the air, and everybody scattered, and they, the dudes that was kicking me and all of that while I was on the ground, they stopped, right? So I get up, Roderick gets up, blood is slowly going down my face, all right here and right here, because all this right here just split open, right? And I'm still going towards him, and Kasim is like, no. So I left, right? Now come to find out, I forgot to tell y'all, Anthony and another dude that I was cool with was there, and they saw that happen to me. I'm cursing them out, like, yo, you supposed to be my boys and everything, da-da-da-da-da, and I wound up not dealing with them, right? So a few weeks passed by, and I wound up chilling with this dude called Rico. This Puerto Rican dude that was from Jersey, right? We go to a football game. The same scenario. We go to the football game, and then after that, we go to McDonald's. I see Roderick, and I see the 2 dudes that jumped me, and this dude named Chris. Now, Chris, I don't have no problems with Chris. And if Chris was there, I don't think that he would have jumped in. He would have jumped me anyway. So I told Rico about it, and he was like, oh, all right, let's go see them. So as we're approaching them, they punks, all of them. Now, taking heed, it's 5 of us. I think it's like 4 of them. We're approaching them. They jump in the car and drive off like fast. So Rico's like, yo, let's get in the car. So it's 5 of us. Driver gets in the seat. Front passenger gets in the seat. I'm in the middle. Rico is on the left of me, and it's another dude that's on the right of me, right? So I'm sitting in the middle in the back seat. We drive off. We're following them, right? So they realize that we're following them. So they make a right. And as they make a right, Rico, now taking heed, that night was the first night I ever got tore up. The first night that I ever like really had some liquor. So all of us were tore up. So Rico extends his arm across me and the guy on the right hand side out the window and goes pop, 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 pop. And I'm like seeing, the only thing I'm hearing is the gun, and I'm seeing it's slits. I think he had a 38 or 45. It's like slits on the nose, and I'm seeing a fire just spark out of the gun. And I'm saying to myself, man, I hope he didn't kill one of them dudes, because he definitely shattered and broke the back window of that car, right? So they wound up dropping me off, and I'm sitting in the room, and I'm hearing boom, 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 because, back then, everybody had systems, loud systems, So I'm sitting in the room, I look out the window, lo and behold, it's 2 carloads of people, 2 carloads, and I'm seeing who's in there. It's Roger, Chris, it's a whole bunch of dudes. And I said to myself, yeah, man, it's time to go. I packed my bags up and I moved back to New York. Stay tuned. My name is Langston 2092. Share the video, like, comment, and subscribe. 1.